Realism is a philosophy that deals with the physical world. Realists believe that the physical world is separate from the mind and that truth or knowledge can be observed from reality. Realists believe that reality can be observed through our senses, unlike idealists. Realists also believe that the world can be organized and categorized to be understood. Aristotle is credited as being the founder of realism. Aristotle was a student of Plato, who was an idealist. These two philosophies directly counter each other. Aristotle also is credited with creating the scientific method, a central point in the realist philosophy. Émile Rousseau is another philosopher who believed in realism. Rousseau was from Swiss descent and was an educational reformer. Some of his ideas consisted of returning to nature and having 5 parts to educate: infant, childhood, pre-adolescent, adolescence, and women education. He also believes that children should be protected from wrong and evil. One other philosopher that also believed in realism was John Locke. Locke wrote many books, and one of his main ideas was that the mind was tabula rasa, or, in other terms, a blank state. He believed that we were all born knowing nothing, and that the world around us and what we observed through our senses is what knowledge came from. In today's schooling, realism and its proponents have played a major role in shaping the system of how it is. The philosophy in realism structures itself around one central person who teaches the material. This would be the teacher in today's classrooms. It is the teacher's job to transmit knowledge to the students. Lecture is one main way to transmit this knowledge. Some other ways also include labs and demonstrations. Knowledge is tested through tests. One of the most well-known things that is associated with realism is the scientific method created by Aristotle. You can witness this method being used today in schools all across the world. Almost every experiment that is conducted in the science field uses the scientific method to analyze results and reach a conclusion. The subject of mathematics is also greatly affected by realism. Math is often taught by learning the basics and then working towards more advanced concepts. Lectures play a huge part in this, as does scientifically and critically thinking through problems. In today's classrooms, the ideal application of this philosophy would be in a science lab. The teacher will instruct you about the knowledge you need to know, and then you would be free to experiment with the subject at hand. The students would work through their experiments logically in order to achieve the results that are needed, and then they would critically think through their procedure to figure out what happened, and why it did happen. Obviously, observations would be key to this process.